USA Ultimate is proud to present the 2016 US Open Ultimate Championship. It's 4th of July here in Kingston, Rhode Island, Championship Monday, and we begin in the mixed division as Boston Slow White and Seattle Mixtape battle for the US Open title. At Meade Stadium on the campus of URI has been the site of the 2016 US Open. Yesterday, Mixtape eliminating the defending national champs Dragon Thrust in dramatic fashion. Slow White over Metro North, 15-10. Hi again, everybody. Evan Lepler with Ian Toner. Delighted to have you with us. And these are two teams looking to take that next step. We've seen Seattle come in second place before. Slow White, a semifinalist at Nationals last year. Two teams trying to make that move into the elite.
Absolutely, Evan. Slow White, a New England powerhouse trying to gain back prominence on the national stage. Seattle Mixtape, they've come up short the last 2 years, trying to cement their legacy and become a fixture at the top of the mixed division.
It's going to be fascinating to watch because Boston went to the semifinals last year at Nationals. Their third trip to the semis. They were in the national championship game a couple times in the mid-2000s. Have never won the national title, but they've added a youngster in Tanner Johnson, who's on the U.S. Junior National team and has really risen his level of play. Was with Boston Ironside last year. What does he bring to the table?
He's a downfield threat that not many other players in the division or of his age can match. He's got great speed, great hops, great explosiveness. Look for him to be patrolling the deep lanes today for Slow White.
Just finished up his freshman year at UMass. Seattle Mixtape, they like to have fun out on the field, and they came back from a 13-10 deficit to eliminate the three-time defending champs yesterday.
Certainly exercising some demons with that victory. They have to be one of the loosest and most confident teams here at this entire tournament. They're led by Khalif El-Salam, one of the dual threats. You really can't stop him. You can just only hope to contain him. You got to pick your poison, whether you want him going out and catching goals deep or coming under and throwing the goals deep. He's going to do everything for Mixtape this afternoon.
Now, Henry Fan, Claire Revere, Walton Cavallero, they're all involved, but El-Salam is the engine that makes this team go, both offensively and defensively. Well, these two teams met a couple of days ago in pool play. Seattle Mixtape won a tight one. Slow White looks for revenge when it matters most. It's Boston and Seattle as we begin a triple header of championship coverage next. The 2016 US Open Ultimate Championships are presented by Discraft Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Discraft Ultrastar is now available at over 1,900 US retail locations, including all Dick's Sporting Goods and Hibbett Sports stores. By Discover Newport. Choose your own adventure in Newport, Rhode Island. Get the inside scoop on where to stay and where to play at discovernewport.org. And by USA Ultimate, the national governing body for the sport of Ultimate in the United States. For more information or to find out where to play Ultimate in your area, visit usaultimate.org. Starting lineup for Boston, Slow White, Lexi Zalk, the veteran Dan Batista, Tanner Johnson, the 19-year-old sensation, with Rachel Westgate, Jeff Smith out of Duke University, a veteran Slow White handler, Alex Trahey, and former Boston Brute Squad player Vicky Chang for head coach Marshall Goff. He's been at the helm 6 seasons now. Hauser, Revere, Barker, El-Salam needs very little introduction with Williams, Walton, and Dare for Charlie Mercer, who might be the busiest person at the tournament today other than Ian, myself, and our crew. We have 3 games. She has 2 games. She'll be playing for Seattle Riot in the women's final at 12:30. Could not ask for a nicer 4th of July. It is not too hot. It is not too cold. It is quite sunny, but not too breezy. Little cloud cover would be nice if you're demanding perfection, but it is pretty darn close to perfect here in Kingston, Rhode Island for this 240th birthday of our country. There's Khalif El-Salam. He'll pilot much of the Mixtape attack today. It's interesting, Ian, these are two teams that basically are battling to be weird. And who can be weirder than the other is a big point of pride, I think, for both of these teams, whether they realize it in that context or not.
No, I think they put a lot of effort and value into building their own culture and their own identity and making it unique. And there are all kinds of weird in the Frisbee community, but these two teams are very proud of what they've built.
Both teams were founded fairly organically. Slow White back in 2004, basically as a summer league team, a group of friends. They were all young at that stage. They went to regionals and won some games, upset some more established teams, as the first turnover may be negated by a call. We'll see.
That was Miles Montgomery Butler pursuing Walton. Miles, a veteran of Boston Ironside.
Okay. You were right here, you got me on this side, and because of that, I could not accelerate, I could not go get the disc. You hit me way before I could get to the disc, so I couldn't get there.
Well, I think that with the path I was seeing to the disc, I wasn't going into, I was to the disc. We came into each other.
Okay, I think you both made your argument. Are you going to come to me or are you going to be foul contest?
I think we'll go to you if that's okay.
Okay, hold on just 1 second. Okay. So, foul was called, observer ruling. It was a foul. You came into him.
Okay.
We're going to be here.
Mitch Dengler, the head observer, with Sam Shapiro, Patrick Driscoll, and Jonathan Monforti. This just so happens to be Mitch Dengler's 600th game as an observer. An observing career that began at College Easterns in 2002.
We're going to need Sludge Brown to build some charts on observer statistics, games worked.
If anyone's up for that task, it is my guy Sludge. So Seattle keeps the disc. Brad Hauser. El Salam past the bidding Sean Doherty. And a pick call downfield.
It was in the air here.
And before the game, Marshall Goff was telling us that we should expect to see a number of different Slow White defenders taking the Khalif El Salam matchup.
Yeah, come in
Doherty
one. Come in one.
drawing the short end of the straw on the first point here.
Certainly won't shy away from the challenge. But it is a challenge. And Seattle with some miscommunication in the end zone. That throw sailed past 3 different targets.
And Walton was clearly going for Revere. I think that throw just released without focus. Ends up falling just behind her.
Slow White in the black. The defensive line playing offense. And the deep shot. Nice catch by Zolk. She'll flip it to the end zone. A little extra float, but it's caught anyway. And Boston Slow White begins the game with a break. Zolk hitting Andy Schachter for the score.
Here's Davis Whitehead's deep shot to Zolk. Definitely floated a bit more than he wanted. And he had a lot of confidence in throwing to that Zolk matchup, despite the fact that Revere was in close pursuit. I think we're seeing throwers are going to have a bit more challenge in this left to right direction. Throwers are going to float and stay up in the air a bit longer going this way, as determined by today's conditions.
Well, 12 years ago, Boston Slow White first played in the series. They won a bunch of games at regionals, and then they realized that if they made it to nationals, they didn't have anyone who was old enough to rent a car. They weren't really planning on competing in nationals. They made it a year later. They had some veterans on that team. Made it all the way to the USA U Club Finals, back then known as the UPA Club Finals in 2006 and 2007, losing to Mischief from the Bay Area and Shazam Returns from Seattle. Andy Schachter in his 4th season on Slow White. The team's 2 primary mottos: number 1, get weird or die trying. Number 2, fun, fitness, friendship. And both those mottos written out on a tank top that Jeff Smith designed a couple years ago. The tank top depicts Snow White riding a pterodactyl into battle. Words that I never thought I would say on a broadcast, but in fact, Snow White was riding a pterodactyl into battle.
Like we said, Evan, all kinds of weird in this community.
Here's a deep shot from Cavallero. It's caught by El Salam just shy of the goal line, and he'll pick up the assist as the game is evened at 1. Hauser with the score from El Salam.
Looks like Ben Katt's got the El Salam matchup. Khalif has the height and size advantage on him there. So we see the thrower in power position. Khalif starting with a step. Easy finish to Hauser. Slow White wants to make those offensive points a bit more challenging for the Mixtape offense.
Yeah, Marshall Goff talked about trying to make their choices for them. We know we can't totally stop their top players, but if we limit their first choice, and because of that, do you think their goal is to try to push El Salam underneath and make him become a thrower? Not that he's not incapable of that.
I think we might see them bounce back and forth between pushing Khalif out and pushing him under, and maybe using a few points as kind of a sample size to make a determination. Hey, his throws are on today. We're not going to test him. Or hey, he's deep in the air today. I don't think they've decided firmly one way or the other how they'd like to treat that matchup just yet.
That last pull sailed 91 yards in the air. If it had sailed 89 yards in the air, it would have been absolutely perfect. First offensive point for Boston Slow White. This is Tanner Johnson, marked by Jesse Bolton. Two guys with illustrious resumes despite their young age in the sport. Johnson just finished up his freshman year playing for Tina Booth at University of Massachusetts. UMass, the #1 seed heading into nationals, could not put it together in Raleigh, but they've got a bright future ahead because of this kid. Despite his dancing deficiencies.
He might actually be proud of those moves. But as we see this swing go over, Johnson is just going to kind of casually work his way from the front of the stack and slowly accelerate into that deep cut.
The 11th year Slow White member Dan Batista with a nice shot.
And that's not an easy throw to put on the money in this wind, especially with the defender like Bolton giving pursuit.
Well, the story of the wind this weekend in Rhode Island, it's typically been on the calmer side in the morning, and the wind has become a little more lively in the afternoons. Right now, there certainly is a decent breeze down in the field. Boston Slow White, their only loss in the tournament was to Seattle Mixtape. A tight game in pool play. Slow White actually took half in that game before falling 15-12. And in the semifinals, Slow White got up a couple breaks and then just hung on till the end against Connecticut's Metro North. And this pull rolls out the back, but it was touched. So she's going to have to play it from the back line.
You touched it. You touched it. It's right there.
Lucy Williams with an error. It's about as hard as it gets, starting on the back line of the end zone. Mixtape really had no other choice, but when you have Revere and El Salam going for it, it's a wise choice. Revere launches for Hauser, off his fingertips in the end zone. Huh. Maybe they should start on the back line more often.
If there were 2-point lines, these deep shots to El Salam would be incredibly valuable.
Hauser would have been a spectacular catch, but I'm sure he's going to regret not making it. And Boston turns it over, going the other direction. It's the first turnover for Slow White. Dominic Cavallero marked by Andy Schachter. To Walton. Walton with a floating swing, but it's caught by Hauser. Davis Whitehead on the mark. Pretty good downfield defense on the unders. Nice grab by El Salam. And he'll let one rip. Hauser won't have to bid for this one. Pretty impressive offensive point from Seattle Mixtape. Basically twice going the length of the field from their own end zone.
A lot of confidence and composure working from their back line and their goal line. And it helps to have the throwing and skying prowess that El Salam maintains. Catching that first deep shot and then delivering this deep shot to Hauser. I'm sure Hauser's glad that Mixtape was able to secure this hold after that first shot from Revere went off his fingertips.
Cavallero with the score, second assist for El Salam. Ambiguous Gray, Noise, Slow White, Wild Card, Voltaje from Colombia, and Dragon Thrust has been the path for Mixtape here at the 2016 U.S. Open.
And be looking in. We got to go get our position now and be looking in.
Their second straight year in the championship game of this tournament. 2 years in a row they beat Dragon Thrust in the semis. Last year it was the team from Australia, Melbourne's Ellipsis, that took down Mixtape in the final. Got to watch many of those Ellipsis stars at the World Championships with the Australian men's, women's, and mixed teams a little over a week ago in London. Deep shot for Johnson, and he'll run it down. Nice touch from Todd Herman on the toss.
Tanner Johnson really likes celebrating. You know, I kind of want him to score some more to see what's next. And this stall count was getting higher. I think Johnson just decided late in the stall count, hey, I'm going to go out into the lane and see which way Bolton forces me. And Johnson's going to slide safely into home plate.
We don't know.
Maybe he's got a cell phone planted under the field goal post.
A Sharpie in his sock.
Yeah. Odes to Terrell Owens and Joe Horn.
Let's see what he's got in store. He's got 2 goals already.
To pull, no offside.
Pretty clean game so far, Ian. Only 3 turnovers in the first 5 points.
Yeah, no turnovers for the Slow White offense early on in this game.
Both scorers coming on shots to Tanner Johnson deep. Debbie Barker gets the reset for El Salam. One thing that Mixtape has been consciously talking about is the fact that they've typically been starting games slow. They've had half taken on them several times in the tournament, despite always bouncing back. Changed their warm-up a little bit before the game today. Played a bunch of lively music.
If your team doesn't have a block rocker or some kind of boombox in the warm-up, you're doing it wrong.
Cavallero with a high stall, put it up perfectly, and it's ripped down by Hauser in the end zone. It's a fun shootout right now here in the mixed final.
Yeah, so much for this wind making it more challenging to throw in this direction. I think for the most part, the receivers are answering the call and attacking these discs at the high point.
Brad Hauser in his 6th season now playing with Seattle Mixed. 25 years of age. After this tournament, Mixtape will play in the Pro Flight finale in Vancouver, Washington, and then regionals and hopefully nationals.
So we see El Salam coming over for this defensive point for Mixtape. Trying to get this break back early on in this half.
Downfield defenders on the break side.
Right up the sideline, Herman connecting with Batista.
2-3 heads up, so we have a 2-on-1 right there.
Slow White looking to stay perfect on offense, and they do. Nice adjustment by Batista as Zalk picks up her 2nd assist.
That throw choice surprised me. I'll be the first to admit that. A sharp blade into the wind, slightly over the stack, just outside the end zone. But Zalk is a very confident player, and she helped Slow White's offense stay perfect here.
Zalk had the first assist for Boston on the opening break, finding Schachter. She played for Bent in New York City out of Middlebury, one of many Middlebury products on this Slow White squad. Slow White still up a break here midway through this first half. Later today, Seattle and Boston will meet in the women's division as Brute Squad and Riot square off. Rematch of last year's national title game in the women's division. And then it looked like we might have Boston-Seattle again, but the Men of Machine disrupting that path. Chicago Machine knocking off Boston Ironside last night. It'll be Chicago and Seattle in the men's title game at 3 p.m. Eastern. Really, all 3 matchups today are compelling. And there's a drop. A little bit too much pepper on that shot. And Boston has its 2nd break. Tanner Johnson with his 3rd score This is the first on the defensive side of the disc.
All right, fewer style points awarded for that celebration. But it looked like a high stall situation. I think Cavallero might have been looking for El Salam.
Certainly appeared Walton didn't expect the disc to come to him right there.
Yeah. Slow White now 2 for 3 on break opportunities. Respectable percentage early on in the game.
Well, you certainly raised your eyebrows a little bit when you saw Tanner Johnson on the Boston Ironside roster at 18 years of age, as Richardson picks up the assist. Now, I think he certainly could have played Ironside again if he had wanted to, but after a college season to train and compete with Boston Ironside again, perhaps seeking a little bit of a breather. Not that playing at the highest level of the mixed division is just a walk in the park either.
Right, and he's got some other commitments as well, competing with the World Junior Under-20 team. There are so many players who are kind of on that cusp of graduating college, but still being active players in both the college and club divisions, and it's hard to maintain that grind year-round.
I've talked to several players who have said burnout is real if you don't pace yourself. El Salam a little bit over eager with that deep shot, and it's ushered out of bounds by the deep defender, but a foul called on the throw.
Great recognition there.
That's just why I said
I know if I throw this, it's going to be shit as hell.
So the foul call upheld. We were chatting with Seattle's Claire Revere before the game, and I mean, she is only 21 years old, but she said she basically has been playing Ultimate 12 years straight. She took the fall semester off this year, traveled to South Africa and Australia, didn't play much Ultimate. I think it was a rejuvenating experience for her, both from a life perspective and to recharge the Frisbee batteries a little bit.
Yeah, we've seen it happen with many players across the divisions as a bailout throw goes up.
And Revere's fast, but she can't make the play. It sails out of bounds.
That's what some defenses might like to call a coverage sack. All of the options are taken away. The stall count rises. And there's no choice but to make some kind of a bailout throw with all the other options taken away.
Well, Seattle's only turned it over 4 times so far, but Boston has only given it away once. And that's going to work. Slow White on a 3-0 run as the layout grab made by Annie Fisher.
Lexi Zalk, the gunslinger for Slow White. This is 3 blading forehands into the end zone for her so far in this first half. Boosting the efficiency of Slow White's D-line offense. And Seattle Mixtape, conversely, their offensive line drops to a 2 of 5 conversion rate. Not the cleanest offense, and perhaps speaking to Coach Charlie Mercer's point about
Keep it up, and what do we say about the sidelines?
Love power information.
Love power and information. We win from the sidelines.
Strategically, they are going to high, period. High stall, it's going up force side. if you're guarding someone downfield on the break force side, you're playing center field to get that help to you.
Judy's already that way.
Sideline, keep talking.
Hey, let's get it. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's bring it up. So what? 1, 2, 3. So what? Team defense.
Is it possible Marshall Goff is the most well-dressed coach we've seen at the tournament?
Oh, no question. He's just celebrating 4th of July in a more professional manner than the rest of us.
He said that his team was asking him to wear a jacket, but it was too hot for that. But the pocket square is a nice touch. What a dapper fellow. Couple minutes younger than his twin brother Adam, who is here coaching Texas Showdown. The Goff brothers celebrate their birthday tomorrow. What a gift a gold medal would be.
So going back to the discussion that we saw in the slow white huddle, I think they're really keying into the mixtape habits. When the stall count rises and things are in doubt, the mixtape is going to punt or take some kind of deep shot, because they have players like El Salam or Revere who are going to have a chance at making some kind of a play. So that requires some more awareness from defenders who might not be actively marking someone in the lane to be able to pull off and give that center field support.
Well, here comes the huck they were expecting. Hauser is there. That was a beautiful throw. Cam Bailey launched it. Now Cavallero resets, and El Salam connects. There's Bailey. He teaches 7th and 8th grade math and PE at Meeker Middle School in Seattle. Interesting tidbit from the game as well. Cam Bailey, along with Seattle's Jen Cogburn, they're staying at Slow White's Alex Trahey's house tomorrow. They're staying in Boston to go to Fenway Park and see the Red Sox play the Rangers tomorrow. They made that plan before they realized they'd be playing in the finals. Tribute to the Frisbee community. Just checking in with any Boston folks. Anyone have a place for us to stay for a night? And of course, the Frisbee community came through.
Taking a look at this replay, we see this swing go up to El Salam, and you see Ben Katz pinching up there. He was actually marking Bailey in the back corner of the end zone, and he didn't fully commit to making a play on that swing, leaving him slightly out of position. That inside shot to Bailey went up. I think Katz still got a finger on it. But ultimately, Seattle's offense gets the hold.
Here at Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island, both teams liking the deep game, and Johnson comes down with it. El Salam mistimed the jump, but an end zone turnover. Just the second giveaway from Slow White, and the first mistake from the Boston offense.
And that's the matchup we've been waiting for this morning. Tanner Johnson and Khalif El Salam. Johnson winning that one. And then I think there's a principle in Ultimate called conservation of greatness. After you make one great play, make sure you don't expend too much energy. As he turned it over, but El Salam shoots deep.
And that disc had some knuckle to it down the stretch. It's just the second point of the game so far, Ian, that has had multiple turnovers in a really clean game. Nice conditions for throwers. Just out of the reach of Rachel Westgate.
Rachel Westgate, another Brute Squad veteran on this roster. Coming over along with Vicky Chang after recent success with the Brute Squad team.
Johnson and El Salam matched up with one another. Travel violation called.
What's it coming in on?
Okay, one.
Bolton on the under. Jesse Bolton played for Seattle Sockeye last year. Henry Fan on the sideline makes the catch in bounds. El Salam forcing Bolton to make a play, and he does. That's 4 assists for Khalif El Salam. And Jesse Bolton just getting a little workout in.
And I think that's as much throwing to a matchup as anything else, as we see Henry Fan toe the line and save possession. He gets it to El Salam, and when you see Jesse Bolton going deep against 3 women, I think it's a high percentage shot, no matter how you release it. Just gives him a chance to make a play on the disc, and Bolton comes down with it.
The first break for Mixtape. Landing on Mary Glickman. Well, 6-5. Boston still with a slight edge, set to receive. It's interesting to note, Ian, every single Mixtape score has involved only male players, the assist and the goal. Slow White has used its female players much more frequently in scoring situations, both with Lexi Zolk, along with Annie Fisher. This is a shot for Batista, and he's there. That was easy.
Yeah, and Evan, to your point about the Mixtape score sheet so far, I don't think that's because there's any lack of female depth or talent on that roster. I think that's just a circumstance of who's been around the disc in the red zone so far, as we see Batista pursued by Hauser.
That's Jeff Smith, originally from Westford, Massachusetts. Previously played mixed ultimate with the Ghosts. A nice chuck. A lot of hucks in this game. Slow White is 5 of 6. We define hucks on any throw greater than 40 yards. Slow White 5 of 6. Mixtape 5 of 8. Pretty good percentage either way.
The wind definitely calmer this morning than it was for yesterday's semifinal between Mixtape and Dragon Thrust.
The men and women of Dragon Thrust, if they're watching this game, they certainly wish they were here. They had a 13-10 lead, and an uncharacteristic performance down the stretch allowed Mixtape to get back into it and eventually prevail. Up the line into the red zone. El Salam breaks the mark, but he didn't have anyone cutting. After the throw was released, Parker broke for it. El Salam ambitiously trying to throw his teammate open.
And maybe if he's throwing this when he's going the other direction where there's a bit more wind, that throw sits on the wind and it's easier for someone to run onto it. But it appears that The direction he was throwing was slightly more downwind, so easier for that disc to fall to the ground more quickly.
So Boston looking to break to take half. Slow White will receive to start the second half too. Underneath, Julie Sussman. Chris Waite. Ben Katz continues to use the break side of the field, and Zalk launches. Great float on that disc. Hannah Baranis runs it down, and Boston breaks to take half 8-5. Chris Waite with the goal, and Slow White with a healthy lead. They'll receive to start the second half as well.
Katz with the nice around to Zalk. Zalk continues the flow down the break side. Easy continuation into the end zone. This focus and use of the break side is really what made this break possible. Great determination by the Slow White throwers. And they've got themselves an 8-5 lead on the favorite Seattle Mixtape.
With all that said, as well as Slow White has played, Mixtape has been here before.
They were down 13-10 just yesterday against the 3-time defending national champion.
Dragon Thrust took half yesterday as well. Slow White took half against Mixtape in pool play. So Boston knows what is coming. We've got Marshall Goff, the head coach of Slow White, down on the field. Marshall, first of all, you look great, so congrats on that. Your team looks great, too. How do you think you played so flawlessly offensively?
Well, we're keeping good spacing, which is probably as important as anything else on the field. If we keep good spacing, we're going to find opportunities, and most of the time we did that. We got pushed into a couple of things that were harder, but, you know, if you got good players, sometimes those work.
Defensively, do you feel like your unit is doing a good job of forcing the Mixtape offense to go to their second and third options?
I do, actually, and they've obviously got away with a couple of long ones, and that's going to happen. They're a very good hucking team. They're very athletic, but if we keep the pressure on up front, they're not always getting to throw those in rhythm, and that's hard to do against a good team, but so far so good.
Feels like you guys have gotten away with some long ones as well. Both of Tanner Johnson and Lexi Zalk has had some ambitious throws, but they've all worked out.
Yeah, that loop into the end zone was interesting, but we'll take it. She's another athlete. I think the last time we talked about athletes doing athlete things, and here we are again.
Real quick, look to your left. What's your team doing right now off on the field?
They're playing a game called In and Out Box, which there must be something related to Ultimate in there, but our team is pretty weird.
Well, they have a weird head coach, and I mean that in a compliment.
Well, thank you.
Marshall Goff, thanks for the time. Good luck in the second half.
Happy 4th to you, and tell your stats guy happy birthday for me.
Happy birthday to you tomorrow as well.
Thank you.
Marshall Goff, the head coach of Boston Slow White. His team has an 8-5 lead at the half over Seattle Mixtape. The mixed final of the U.S. Open Ultimate Championships continues in a moment. It's a sunny Independence Day here in Kingston, Rhode Island, as Boston leads Seattle 8-5. The first game of our triple header of championship action today on ESPN 3. Evan Lepler with the intoner, and in the first half, both teams took plenty of deep shots. Both teams connected a bunch. Boston a little bit more often.
Very confident throwing upwind, throwing into the wind. No problem connecting on these deep shots, as we see Cavallero find El Salam just outside the goal line. And he'll dish to Hauser. Another deep shot here. This is one of Tanner Johnson's many goals in this first half. Stylistic celebrations following as well.
How'd you feel about the first half El Salam played as a whole?
I thought he was very effective. I think the one red zone turnover is something that he's definitely going to want back and could prove to be the margin in this game.
Tanner Johnson was incredibly powerful for Boston. Seattle really hasn't had an answer for him so far.
I think some of the matchups that have been, Jesse Bolton's been drawing the Tanner Johnson card so far this game, and I think Bolton can do a better job of really and truly backing him to make sure that he doesn't have that clear path to the end zone.
There's one of the turnovers close to the goal line, led to a Boston break. And the female players from Slow White have really played well. Both Fisher, Zalk, Westgate, Sussman, Glickman, Chang. And that was the nice grab by Fisher.
And then this is the last point heading into halftime. The Slow White D-line offense doing a great job of abusing the Seattle Mixtape marks, working the disc up the break side, and they have a comfortable 8-5 lead.
Slow White by 3. Boston will receive to start the second half when we come back to Rhode Island. In the battle for the mixed division championship at the U.S. Open, Boston Slow White leads Seattle Mixtape 8-5 at the half. We're joined down on the field by Mixtape's Lauren Patty. And Lauren, a fun first half. Both teams taking a lot of chances. Some of them have worked out, some of them have not. What has the conversation been on the Mixtape sideline?
Well, you know, we're definitely a team that's not going to shy away from taking those big shots. And sometimes, as you said, sometimes they pan out and sometimes they don't. I think one of our focuses is just continuing to play hard defense and trying to get those turns when we get the opportunity. On offense, just keeping it smooth and not let, they're playing really great defense right now, and we have to be able to fight through that, and I think we can.
Can you describe how the wind conditions feel to you as a thrower down there on the field?
Well, considering I haven't touched the disc, I can't really, but I can definitely tell that some of those are pretty floaty. They're giving us opportunities to run them down, and it's one of those days where you definitely got to go for the disc with 2 hands and never give up.
Lauren, last thing, a couple days ago, you guys used a second half comeback to beat Slow White. What was the key to that comeback?
You know, it's our legs and it's our love for one another. I know that we're a team that doesn't necessarily have a reputation for being able to clinch these big games, but honestly, it's an honor to have a reputation at this level at all, and I'm just excited to be down here fighting with my friends, and I think we're going to make this half exciting for you.
Well said, Lauren Patty. Thanks for joining us. Have fun out there in the second half.
Thank you, teacher.
Seattle Mixtape's Lauren Patty joining us here at the half. One half remains in the mixed division of the U.S. Open. Slow White and Mixtape both looking for their first title. A look at the first half scoring summary. Lexi Zalk, the assist leader for Boston. Khalif El-Salam has 4 assists, but 4 of their 5. There are several other players with assists for Boston as they took half 8-5.
Khalif El-Salam doing everything he can for Mixtape, leading the team with 4 assists, and Lexi Zalk with some aggressive throws leading the way for Slow White.
Boston receiving to start the second half. Evan Lepler and Ian Toner with you from Meade Stadium in Kingston, Rhode Island. More of the same from Tanner Johnson.
Well, his celebrations have quieted down after his first 2 goals, but his play certainly hasn't. He's been getting the better of that Jesse Bolton matchup all game long.
Another nice toss. Jeff Smith picks up another assist. If Seattle can't slow this down, give the goal to Boston.
Agreed. It's got to be so nice for someone in Jeff Smith's position to have such a reliable deep threat in Tanner Johnson.
He's 6'4", just 19 years old, from Lexington, Massachusetts. Played for Ironside, played for Boston Garuda as well. He's got a long ultimate career ahead of him, and he's headed to Poland later this month. Seattle Mixtape trailing by 4 here. And you know, we've talked about before their reputation for coming in second place. Lauren Patty talked about it as well. 2 straight trips to the national championship game, falling short both times to Dragon Thrust. A year ago in the US Open, they came in second to Melbourne's Ellipsis. But I imagine you don't think that's on their minds at all right now.
I think they're thinking big picture, long game, as we see an unfortunate drop there from Hauser.
A little casual on that shoulder high catch.
And the other thing worth noting here is when we spoke with Coach Charlie Mercer before the game started, she was very concerned and the team was very aware of their penchant for slow starts. And once again, we saw them kind of dig themselves into a hole, and as a result, they've got to dig themselves out here in the second half, on the verge of going down 5 goals, and now they are, as Tanner Johnson with a nice inside shot to the end zone.
Seattle has only turned it over 6 times, but 5 of those times they've turned it over, they have not gotten the disc back. Seattle has turned it just, Boston has turned it just 3 times in the game.
Really impressed with this slow white D-line offense. They haven't looked rushed. They've done their best to use the break side as much as they can. I think the Mixtape offense might do well to tighten up their marks after the turnover.
So Johnson picks up his first assist to go along with his slew of goals. And Hannah Baranas, geologist, getting her PhD at UMass. She's a 3rd degree black belt in Taekwondo. Played Ultimate her freshman year at Dartmouth College when Seattle Riot's Rory Titcomb was a senior. Molly Roy, Marika Austin also on that Dartmouth Princess Layout team. And Hannah was telling us before the game, she met those girls and saw their competitive attitude and how good they were and how much fun they were to be around. She said, these are the people I want to spend my college career with. And that's basically why she played Ultimate.
A really storied program that the Dartmouth women's program has built. A number of fixtures in the women's club scene and mixed scene as well.
Critical point here for Seattle. Taking a deep chance to Lonnie Wynn. Wynn's got it.
Another late stall huck. Wynn had to be more than 30 yards deep by the time that throw went up, but Wynn had the better read, the better body positioning, kept the defender on her back the entire time.
That's Olivia Hampton trailing defensively. Pretty nice throw from Cavallero in the high stall situation.
And upwind, no less.
And the stability on this disc, a byproduct of the incredibly tight rotation on the release, the snap of the wrist. It's a hard thing to teach a thrower, and you just kind of got to feel it out for yourself to develop that touch on your throws, especially deep shots.
We just to open up that space. Additionally, we need to be utilizing our women.
Okay.
So we're still looking off open women. We're not looking to
Cam Bailey on the Fulton Mixtape.
Claire can destroy her women deep. Jen can destroy her. where we have women, we need to be using the disc laterally to clear out those poaches.
Yeah.
And right now we're still trying to run it for dudes.
Not a bounds on the
Our
pole.
women have the mismatches.
Okay.
Our women can run it. Cool?
Good call.
Very direct message from Charlie Mercer. Get the women more involved. It worked on that last point with Lonnie Nguyen using her body to protect the disc from Olivia Hampton. This Boston O-line has been very steady. Batista hits Zalk. And off the hands of the bidding target. Todd Herman couldn't haul it in, so Bolton quickly gets the fan. Off to Cogburn and El Salam. He's got a target deep. And perhaps too much traffic as Bolton could not go for the disc with Lexi Garrity right there too.
Yeah, I think that disc died a little more quickly than he had anticipated, but you do expect him to make that play.
Some contact, you could hear the apology. Check out this last play. Just when that disc went up, I thought it was intended for Garrity.
As did I. And I think Bolton was responding to the opportunity after he saw the disc go up and perhaps just overran it slightly.
Boston gives it back. Bolton tries over the top. What a shot. Picture perfect. Bolton to El Salam for the score. A Seattle break makes it 10-7.
That's not an easy throw. Bending it cross field, over the stack, around the stack, avoiding the traffic. Fan goes to Bolton. And then El Salam just kind of stretches out into that far corner of the end zone. Really nothing a defender can do there when that throw is so far to that opposite corner. And that's Seattle Mixtape's second break of this game. They're now 2 for 4, 50% on those opportunities.
The game was tied 3-3, and then Boston scored 3 straight to go up 6-3. Seattle inched within 1 at 6-5. And then a 4-0 run. 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half from Slow White. But from 10-5, we're back to a 3-score game thanks to Jesse Bolton's nice toss.
We have to win. Use your legs, Henry. Let's go. Let's go.
Maybe early in the season, but tell me these teams don't really want to win this game.
Definitely a bellwether tournament, seeing where everyone's at and what their prospects are for the rest of the season.
$1,000 on the line. Winning team gets $2 grand. Second place gets $1 grand.
That's Steve Sullivan with the disc. He wears many hats in the Ultimate community, serving as an editor for the publication UltiWorld and also working with USA Ultimate on the Mixed Club Division Working Group.
Oh, he was wide open and a mistake on the toss. First time today that Slow White has turned it over on back-to-back points, but a critical mistake to just give the disc right back. If Slow White goes on to win this game, we'll look back at mistakes like that Carl Eckwurzel with the score. Second-year member of Slow White.
So the wind getting the better of that throw to Sullivan that should have been a sure score. And fan swing, hitting a swirling gust of wind. Kind of driving home the importance of really driving those throws into the chest of your receiver. And Eckwurzel's fired up about that one.
Eckwurzel is actually a producer and a writer for the WWE. No stranger to emotional outbursts. His first goal, Eckwurzel out of Georgia State University.
20 seconds to pull, Slow White.
11-7 Boston. And Seattle has gotten turnovers occasionally, but they haven't always been able to pay those turnovers off. That's not going to work for Mixtape. Got to give credit to Annie Fisher. Her downfield defense on Claire Revere has really taken Seattle's top female star almost out of the game.
Haven't seen much from Revere. Great individual and also team defensive effort there. As we saw that last huck go up, there were two Slow White players in the area. Really taking the message from their earlier huddle to heart and staying aware for those late deep shots.
Good disc movement from Slow White. Schachter. And no foul, he just flubbed that into the ground. Third consecutive point with multiple turns. Lucy Williams bids and scores for Seattle. Two of the last three Seattle scores coming from female players, as you see the throw just into the ground. And a good toss here from Hauser.
Yeah, not sure exactly what Mark Davis Whitehead was trying to throw. Looked to be somewhat straight up, but ultimately Hauser is able to deliver a nice flick into the end zone. Great finish by Lucy Williams.
So it's 11-8, and after the score, it's Seattle who's called a timeout to try to rest up. There's Boston Slow White, Marshall Goff.
We're playing the way it's ours.
Diamonds.
Keep doing it. We have to do it now. Every point, every person.
We're gonna win.
Hey, they're poaching hard on a whole bunch of our players. I know it's like, what's that word? I can't say it right. Cacophony? Whatever. There it is. I know it's super loud out there, but communicate from the sideline and from the field. If you're being poached, go get it, because every time we try and drive deep, there's always a dude back there. That means we have a dude open under. Yeah. 1 minute, 1 minute.
Our tempo! Our tempo! Get out!
Jesse, stats, Cam.
Oh,
haul it up.
We're good. We'll get
you. Bring a point here. Take a breather.
Ian, when you're on the field in a big game, do you have to make a concerted effort to hear your own sidelines and get their instructions?
Yes, and I think more often than not, the good teams have something similar to a buddy system where before the point starts, there's clear communication, you know, hey, Ian, I've got you. That teammate on the sideline is going to be communicating everything to me throughout that point.
So you're listening for that specific voice.
Exactly. Doesn't always happen on every point, but in an ideal situation, I've always got that teammate telling me, hey, the disc is on the far side. Hey, you're the last back.
It was 8-5 at half. Boston got a break to go up 10-5. Seattle got a break back to get within 3 at 10-7. Offenses both scoring despite a couple turnovers on the last 2 points. Schachter to the near side of the field for Smith. Wide open underneath Westgate. Quick reset. Smith inside out. Beautiful. Tanner Johnson again.
Jeff Smith is putting on a throwing clinic here. Certainly helps that he's got a receiver like Johnson to reel in his deep shots, but we're going to see him catch this little dish. And this is a smooth inside-out shot that just rides the wind, travels through that lane.
Why does it look like Tanner Johnson doesn't have a defender on him for half of his scores?
I think Khalif and Jesse Bolton are both playing under him. And to be fair, this shot came up the break side lane, never really giving any defender a chance.
So Smith, the slow white vet, with his 3rd assist. Smith has really been kind of the heart and soul of this team for several years now. And this would be a big achievement for Boston Slow White to win the U.S. Open. It'll give them confidence going forward for sure. And you pick up, you know, a guy like Miles Montgomery Butler, a guy like Tanner Johnson. Got some other talented first-year players like Rachel Westgate. Slow White has never won a national title before. They've twice finished 2nd. They're going to be a tough team this year. Decent adjustment by Wynn, but she couldn't get there. On the outside in backhand from Fan.
And I understand what Fan was trying to do there. He was trying to bend that throw to the break side in a place that only Wynn could get to, as we see another deep shot go up here.
Another gorgeous throw. It's tipped 12 times before it falls to the ground. In and out of the grasp of Sean Krieger. So a break for Mixtape. El Salam. That one had good bend to it. Fan attacked it at the peak. Looks like a call was made on the throw. Here's the turnover from Krieger. It's a helpless feeling.
And it's almost like Bailey obviously never made any contact with the disc, but his mere presence almost intimidated Krieger as he was trying to make the grab. And speaking of making a grab, Henry Fan with an emphatic stab on this nice inside shot.
A foul or a pick was called near the disc. That call has been overruled. The goal stands as Fan collects it from El Salam. Late in the game yesterday where Henry Fan really got going.
Had that great, really hyper-aware poach block coming off the stack to deny an upline cut. And a little high release shot into the end zone to tie the game at 13s. And with that throw from El Salam to Fan, Mixtape improving its hucking percentage, converting on 8 of 13 throws of greater than 40 yards so far today.
Seattle needs a string of breaks to get back into this. Slow White on offense has been steady, a basic horizontal stack with 3 handlers and 4 cutters. Lining up across the field, Johnson underneath with El Salam marking. To Zalk. She'll take another chance with that flick, and it's defended. Walton knocked it away for Seattle.
And if you're Seattle, this is something you want to see. You want to be forcing a great thrower like Jeff Smith downfield and away from the disc and force him to make a play.
Greatest attempt from El Salam would have been incredible, but it wasn't a great throw in the swing from Bolton. Too high, too far, and to the end zone goes Boston's Slow White. Batista with a goal, Slow White within 2 of the title.
A little disheartening for Mixtape. Great defensive play by Walton to earn the block, and El Salam doing all he can to save possession. An incredible greatest attempt, but ultimately that break chance goes to waste, and the shot to Batista secures the hold for the Slow White offense.
Credit the assist to Vicky Chang. Batista in year 11 with Slow White out of Drew University. Played for Ironside for a time too. Now 33 years of age. And Vicky Chang, very versatile player. She can handle, she can go downfield. Picks up her first assist. Mixtape has been plagued by the unforced turnover. The majority of them coming on fairly short throws. Which is surprising from this team that prides itself on having fun, playing a lot of mini. There's Revere on the under. Turns around and launches. Barker couldn't get there.
This one's coming back on a foul. I think there was contact with Revere's right forearm as she released. The mark closes in, and maybe there wasn't contact with the forearm, but perhaps contact with her body. That's awfully close.
Calls foul. Rulings that it is a foul. Yep, this goes back.
We saw Revere's wrist made contact with the side of the marker after the release. The question is, how steady and still does the marker have to be for the thrower's arm coming into you to not be a foul? I think that's something that we're still kind of learning. Chance for El Salam here. That was one heck of a toss. Angled to that sliver corner of the end zone.
Boston 13, Seattle 10.
Not much a downfield defender can do when the mark gets broken like this. Trying to keep a backhand force, and Cavallero using his large frame to step around Miles Montgomery Butler's mark and just put a blade right on the money to Gleif.
El Salam has done a little bit of everything once again. Involved in 7 of Seattle's 10 scores. Dominic Cavallero has been an instrumental part of the offense. 24-year-old handler from Seattle. Cam Bailey on the pull. El Salam, Cavallero both getting a breather for this deep point. Deep shot looking for Herman, and a defensive breakdown from Mixtape.
Definitely blown coverage there. Multiple defenders realizing a few seconds too late that there's a receiver wide open.
And Smith to Herman to get Boston to 14.
Not sure if there was a junk look that Mixtape was trying to throw, or if there was just confusion on which defender was taking which assignment.
You know, on paper, Ian, these two teams are pretty similar with playmakers, throwers, talented males, talented females. Boston's just played a much cleaner game.
They've valued the disc a lot more. They've valued their turnovers more. They've connected more consistently. Boston with a much higher hucking percentage. They are now at 8 of 10, 80% on throws over 40 yards. And they've been pretty successful in the red zone too, 9 of 11 with those opportunities.
When you're getting burned deep over and over again, yes, there are adjustments you can make, but it's not always as simple as let's play a straight up mark. Let's change the matchup, because if there's a mismatch downfield, sometimes you can throw a different player to change the rhythm, but oftentimes you just got to respect that guy's ability.
Right, I think it comes down to your starting positioning as well. Are you going to put your hips in such a way that you can take off with him deep? Are you going to put your body in front of that receiver's deep path? Lots of options besides switching matchups for Mixtape to consider.
El Salam's going to have to lead Mixtape on one epic rally. And we're down 13-10 yesterday. It's 14-10 today. And Boston's going to have a chance here to win it on defense.
Mixtape turnover.
Not enough room for Cavallero to chase it down.
A good look by Dare. I think the wind had a lot to do with carrying that one out the back of the end zone before Cavallero could reel it in.
We've seen this very solid fundamental disc movement from Boston all game long. Doherty back from Montgomery Butler. And I'm not sure he was throwing it to her, but a great catch made and a timeout called by Davis Whitehead.
The wind definitely getting the better of that huck, but a better read by Fisher.
It looked like that throw was intended for Whitehead, but Fisher read it well, coming back to it. That wind just turning it over quicker than Montgomery Butler necessarily intended.
Great awareness. Nice heads-up play by Fisher.
Inside, and then we're looking miles from the back of the stack.
15 seconds.
Okay.
If we work hard, our scoring pass is easy. Here we go. Remember that.
Hey, score. 1, 2, 3, score.
Start open side and come.
If we work hard, our scoring pass is easy, says the head coach. True statement.
Set up your options with your legs. Have the churning downfield present the option, not the creative throwing, especially in this wind.
Right before the tournament, Davis Whitehead sent an email to his team. The subject was in all caps, urgent. If you have a Hawaiian, bring it. He was warming up in a Hawaiian shirt before the game today. Kind of encapsulates the goofy, spirited energy of Boston Slow White's roster. And for the first time, Boston Slow White has won the US Open. (15-10) over Mixtape. It's another silver for Seattle.
One of the two hometown teams, so to speak, making the short drive from Boston, making the most of their opportunity here with this home field advantage, securing their first US Open title in this first leg of USA Ultimate's Triple Crown Tour.
Solid break from Doherty. The throws and the catches were just a little bit crisper from Boston Slow White as they take the title over Seattle Mixtape, avenging their pool play loss to the defending national runners-up. These two teams will see each other again, that's for sure. 15-10 the final. Slow White, the US Open champs in 2016. We'll be back. The 2016 US Open Ultimate Championships are presented by Discraft Ultrastar, the official disc of USA Ultimate. Discraft Ultrastar is now available at over 1,900 US retail locations, including all Dick's Sporting Goods and Hibbett Sports stores. By Discover Newport. Choose your own adventure in Newport, Rhode Island. Get the inside scoop on where to stay and where to play at discovernewport.org. And by USA Ultimate, the national governing body for the sport of Ultimate in the United States. For more information or to find out where to play Ultimate in your area, visit usaultimate.org. Boston Slow White, the US Open champion in 2016, 15-10 over Seattle Mixtape. The star of the show for Slow White, Tanner Johnson. Congrats, Tanner. He joins us down on the field. You are part of the small fraternity of players to play at club nationals before you played at college nationals, which is pretty incredible. How has the transition been from college men's to club mixed?
So the transition isn't, sorry, I'm losing my voice. Transition isn't that, yeah, I don't think it's that big. Every team that I go and play for, I just kind of, I fit the role that they want me to do, and I just kind of, I follow out that role depending, no matter what division and what level.
So Tanner, on that note, you're also preparing for the U20 championships in Poland this summer. How's that preparation going, and how are you feeling about how the team's shaping up?
The preparation's going great. I'm getting really close with all my teammates. I think we're going to be great going out there. I hope we can bring something home. But it's definitely a fun group of guys so far, and I can't wait for it.
I imagine you're getting pretty familiar with how to fit in on a new team with Ironside, UMass, U20, USA, and now Slow White. What has the process been of fitting in with this Slow White team en route to a title?
This Slow White team, they really like me running. So I make sure to keep up my endurance, keep up my speed. and I basically just go where the handlers tell me to go, and they throw it to me.
We saw a number of celebrations. Which one were you most proud of?
Definitely the drop kicking the pylon in the corner.
Oh, so that was a drop kick. We thought you were sliding into home plate.
Nah, it's not as high, so it doesn't look as much like a kick. I can understand, but nah, trying to drop kick it.
Well, it's fun watching you play. We know you got a great career ahead of you. Enjoy the trip to Poland. Looking forward to seeing what you do down the road. Thanks, Tanner.
Thank you very much.
Congrats on the U.S. Open Championship. And the Discraft play of the game involves Tanner Johnson. Several of his sensational scores in the aftermath.
No matter what Seattle Mixtape did, Johnson found a way to get open deep, and he was sure to let everyone know that he scored afterwards. We're going to see him run over and drop kick this pylon. A great performance, really challenging deep threat for Seattle Mixtape to deal with all game long.
Didn't really have to leave his feet either. He had the speed to run everything down. Tanner Johnson with our Discraft plays of the game. Marshall Goff, you are the head coach of a U.S. Open champ. How does it feel?
It feels pretty good. I know this is early season, but this is a big one, and we're going to be celebrating this for a little bit before we really dig into getting ready for the rest of the season.
Was a U.S. Open gold medal on your birthday wish list?
It definitely was. Talking to you guys and taking the gold, I'll take it.
How did you guys hold them off in the second half today comparatively to what happened a few days ago?
Well, part of it was we just stayed tight on our offense. And, you know, in the last game, we got a little loose. They pressured us into getting a little loose. And this time we were able to keep control of the disc. We had a couple of turnovers, a couple forced back, but mostly I think we were a little bit smarter, a little bit more open, and that works out for us.
Can you talk about what Tanner Johnson has done for your offense?
Oh man, that kid! I'm worried this is going to go to his head, but he's really good. And what I'm impressed by as much as anything else is that he's young and he's not just a power thrower. He's a refined thrower, so he doesn't get into trouble if we warning track him and there's everybody around him. And so he's got a steady presence. Plus, that athleticism is you can't learn that later. So we'll take that too.
And speaking of a refined thrower, I know you've talked before about what Jeff Smith has meant to this team through the years. You told us before the game how sophisticated a thrower he is, and he showed it today. Tell our viewers what he has meant to the Slow White community.
Well, I mean, aside from the fact that he's just a great all-around player, he can play wherever he needs to. He goes downfield sometimes maybe he shouldn't, but mostly when he does, it's smart, and he's able to move around. But he's just so good with the disc. His release is on time. He finds the right place, and then when he needs to, he can do anything that's a little bit weird if that's the right thing at that moment. And that's not something. I mean, this is like in soccer. Every soccer player can juggle the ball forever on the sidelines, but the only one who can do it on the field is that one guy. And Jeff's that one guy for us.
Did you feel you guys were the weirder team today?
I don't think we run into too many teams weirder than us.
Yeah, well, you are now a U.S. Open champion, so congratulations. Enjoy it. Have a great birthday, and we'll see you this fall in Rockford.
I look forward to it. Thanks a lot, guys. Happy 4th.
Marshall Goff, the head coach of Boston Slow White, the 4th seed coming in, the #1 team coming out, Ian Toner.
Unexpected. We thought Seattle Mixtape was going to bring home this crown after knocking off Dragon Thrust in the semi. Slow White rising to the challenge, making the most of their home field advantage and emerging with the U.S. Open title.
Final score, Boston 15 and Seattle 10. For Ian Toner, this is Evan Leffler saying so long from Kingston, Rhode Island. To watch this entire game on replay, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN. Coming up next, Seattle Riot and Boston Brute Squad, a rematch of the 2015 Women's National Title. 1 down, 2 to go on Independence Day in Rhode Island. The U.S. Open continues after Boston Slow White clinches its first championship.